Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to the realm of inspiration. Now, I have an interesting story for you. I was trying to do a channeling in my normal space about boundaries, and guess what happens? I instantly feel an energetic interference. And I'm channeling. I'm channeling the elves, and they're like, you need to be present. There's something going on here. They maybe talked for a minute at a time, and we're like, nope, it's not safe here. They kept telling me, it's not safe here. It's not safe here. Now, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it is, my camera needs some cleansing, if it's the space. I don't know what was going on. But all I know is that whenever I feel that, I come to my Himalayan salt rocks that purify the air, purify the space. I got my amethyst above, I got my selenite above as well. They were indicating to me that it's important to talk about the boundaries aspect to dig deeper into understanding your relationship with your shields of protection. That is very important. See, it was very much caught in a loop of talking, and not allowing them to step through. Because I could also feel that there was something going on. So I definitely need to do a cleansing down there where I generally yeah, that's the right word, generally channel, where I typically do my channelings. But you know what, when I felt that, and this is about the base, I gotta sit on the floor, I gotta, change things up. Everything in this channeling that I'm going to do now, and basically throwing away everything that's in this camera and using this one, changing it up a little bit, is in regards to your base. Here's what happened to inspire this. I'll summarize the story as quickly as possible. So, I had a dream last night, very intense, and I kind of understand a little bit more about that dream now, but what it was, the cleansers of the earth, specifically the cats, and specifically cats that I recognized, ones that I registered that I had seen when I was in Greece. We're going through a property that has been a part of my family for a while and cleaning it. And I was going with them and pulling these nails out of the foundation of the house. They were going and cleaning. They went into this little alleyway that was inside of the house, cleaning it out. And I was begging them. There was a part of me begging them to stop doing that. It was the part that didn't want to acknowledge what was going on, which I'll explain in a second. They were going, cleaning it out. They flung something at me, which I interpreted as a negative manifestation, and I jolted myself awake right at my base. What I realized after reflecting on it is the house was my boundaries. When they were going inside of it, it was me and my root, my base. They were trying to clear out my base and send a direct message to me to inspire me to figure out what was going on with my base, my root chakra, by waking me up like that. Which, fairly dramatic, but you know how the universe is. If you're not taking the hint, if you're not taking the message, and they have to keep sending it to you, they're just going to keep getting more and more obvious until you realize what's going on. Then I woke up and I heard balancing the castle and the crown. The crown being you, the castle being your boundaries, how the castle protects you, your boundary lines. I was trying to figure out, after doing readings for people, and kept seeing this common theme of there's something going on with the root. And realizing that I'm also experiencing that as well, and I can be human enough to admit that I have experienced issues with my root chakra without even realizing it. But it kept coming through in readings for other people. Some things about security, about safety. What is causing this disbalance in our base? What is causing this disbalance in our root? What is going on? And it's even to the point that the shadow self wouldn't allow me to ground, I was walking barefoot all over Greece. It wouldn't allow me to even step barefoot in my own backyard, was getting very hesitant, very fearful about a million different things. Well, last night, for the first time in a while, I ran barefoot through the grass. And not even like, not out of fear, just out of, I felt like I wanted to do it. In the fallen leaves, the leaves of change as well, the leaves and the grass and the dirt and everything, reactivating the Earth Star chakra within me to help guide me to this point right now where we got to talk about boundaries. And the truly harmonious Elfian Warriors are the ones to do it. So I'm going to let them step forth, but before I do, I will say that I did set a boundary today when I realized that the common theme of what's going on is boundaries. After spending a week, like I said in the previous video, trying to do things 20 minutes a day that'll bring me joy. And when I wasn't able to commit to that for myself in the last few days, what I realized is I was betraying myself and violating my own boundaries by not doing that practice. So I'm sitting down today to do this channeling because it is something that does bring me joy. So see if we can do it in 20 minutes. But I set a boundary today that did make me feel so much better. After doing that, I felt so drained, so exhausted. I could tell that someone was violating my boundaries and I needed to set a boundary. I fell asleep for 5 minutes, woke up so recharged, realizing that it just took that step of reasserting my boundaries to give me back the energy that's being taken from me. So I know this camera's a little weird, so I'm like looking off to the side. I don't even know the right direction to look. But anyway, I'm going to be channeling in a second, and my eyes are not even going to be open. So we're going to start with Divine Feminine, Truly Harmonious, Elfian Warrior, who tried to step forth earlier and was pretty unsuccessful. I can tell you when she and the Chief Elfian Warrior stepped away, they said interference. They identified interference and stepped away. Since I have a warrior spirit and my relationship with them, they're also very unfiltered too. They sensed it, and the way that they were speaking, they were trying to fully set boundaries and protections as they were trying to speak for me, and then just no, let's move out of that environment. So thank you, elves, for doing that. I can hear them saying, yeah, you have other stories of uncovering that there's something going wrong with your root. I can say that a little bit. I mentioned before, and the elves have mentioned before, that your house is a reflection of your own energy. Well, so is your car. And I found out that the whole base of my car was having a million different issues that I wasn't willing to acknowledge because it was inconvenient for me, for the ego. And this is my main means of transportation. It's how I get places. It's how I do things, how I'm able to go do readings for people, able to go do work, able to go do this. And I was taking advantage of having this vehicle and not realizing there was something going wrong with its foundation. And when I figured out that, it was this big, whoo, aha moment. And then me thinking, maybe it's a reflection of also what's going on in me. And I'm feeling that too. So she just got all fixed up, my vehicle. So perfect timing. I just received the news before sitting down to record this. So that's also perfect as well. Pay attention to the things that your energy is very much attached to, because it can also deliver messages to you about yourself. Okay. Now, moving forward, Divine Feminine, Truly Harmonious Connections, Elfian Warrior. When I've safely stepped back, you may step forth. I can tell you right now, it's not the issue with safely stepping back, communicator. It's the issue with the energy in the spaces. Sometimes the energy is so hostile in a space that it's not even ready to register the truth. So definitely do a cleansing. Now, I am a truly harmonious connections, Elfian Warrior, Divine Feminine. I'll try and speak about now what I was trying to speak about before. What I was trying to speak about before is what is causing issues in harmonious connections with others. Because yes, this theme is about boundaries, but of course, there is a huge theme going on in the collective world about connections with others, and things are anything but harmonious. What was so interesting when I stepped forth in our communicator to communicate, that threw me for a surprise, is how much you humans are truly connected to each other. How within our communicators, mind, body, soul, heart and a communication, Akashic, and everything, specifically the areas that are connected to the ancestral, connected to, the earth star and the base, I could feel how connected you are to each other and how much you all feel and experience the same thing. We witness it as warriors on the polarity line, but to truly feel it in a different way is inspiring. So, in referencing to, now that I can, see how specifically on your physical bodies, these themes, these aspects of the polarity, these themes and aspects, come on, there's definitely a lot with the ancestral. I'm going to talk about that in a second. These themes and aspects of everything, of everyone, you all feel it. You are all truly connected. And there's so much telepathy that your bodies experience. So what's causing dis-ease with truly harmonious connections and safety is the relationship with the ancestral lines. So we're going to sit in some discomfort right now and discuss this. So let me explain a little bit of where I'm feeling this and where you can feel it within yourself. The right side of your body is connected to your ancestors. Your knees are connected to your ancestors and your ancestral lineage on both sides. Your left knee is connected to your future development of your ancestral lineage, how you will influence your future, how you will influence your descendants. Your right knee is connected to how your ancestors are influencing you. What you may notice is your right side of your body is a little bit more heavy than your left, and that's because the weight of the past may be weighing on you. Now, your base is connected to your boundaries, your safety, your security, where you are planted, your home base, everything. It is your present moment. The left is your future. The right is your past. The base of your spine is your present moment. And how are these two things influencing your present moment? Your body tries to tell you it. What I can sense in our communicator, she has a huge bruise on her right side of her body. Her past, her ancestral lineage, the patterns of those who came before her, even those who are still alive, influencing her connections with others. Your knees are how, your legs are connected. So in regards to truly harmonious connections, it can also tell you stories. Your knees can tell you stories about your connections with others as well. Influencing her connections with others because it's going a little bit higher, pointing towards the heart. Now, on the left side, there is irritation a little bit below the knee, going towards the roots that are being planted right now. There's a mark on the base of the earth star, a physical mark of uncertainty about where the roots will continue to be planted. And that is a common theme in the collective all. What patterns are you going to repeat from the past, and what are you going to break that's going to change the future outcome of your descendants, of your children, your grandchildren? How are you going to completely either solidify the marks of your ancestry or change it forever? Heal it forever. You all hold so much power, and you're not the only generation who does. Some people may say, well, why is it us? Well, it's every generation had that opportunity. Every generation held that power. They still do. But the younger of it have more time to make those changes. But it doesn't mean that the older cannot. It doesn't matter what age you're at. You all have that power. It's the day and age now. Every day and age that has passed for centuries, for millennia, have held that power. Said that very loud, because whatever interference was trying to happen can hear the power of divine light and love. So in regards to truly harmonious connections, you go through the lens of love, of light, of joy, of peace, of gratitude, of forgiveness, and most importantly, your centering. Trusting that God protects you. Trusting that Gaia anchors you. Your relationship with Mother Earth has been strained. A lot of humans have experienced the relationship with Mother Earth strained, and that is more evident now during the cold season. A lot of humans like to fight back during the cold season because it's inconvenient for them and their egos. It's important to not do that. If you do that, you're further straining your relationship with the maternal side of you. The maternal side of you is housed more in your future. The paternal side of you is housed more in your past. And this is just because the age of the masculine is moving towards the past. It'll later become the future. It's the cycle. It goes from the age of the masculine to the age of the feminine, the age of the masculine, age to the feminine, whatever is needed for the earth, but it's going to end in that 13th dimension, up in the golden Christ's sun, in the masculine side of creation, with the balance and infusion of the feminine side of creativity. The balance. It'll end balanced. And you're learning how to balance it now as a collective all to help you in future lifetimes. So, what's going on with boundaries? That's influencing your truly harmonious connections? It's fear. It's fear. Fear of what happens when your eyes are closed. When the phone call ends. When the door closes. When you can't see things anymore. Can't hear things anymore. What are those people doing behind your back? The pattern of betrayal lays heavy in all of you because of what caused the fall of the previous golden earth. That trauma was a trauma that is in the DNA makeup of every human being, is that trauma of betrayal. Because that's what caused the fall. Is the betrayal. That's what started it. That's what started the experimentation. And that's what started the end, is the betrayal. So, healing the betrayal within yourself, that of you and those who came before you, will help you understand your boundaries more, because the boundary patterns playing on a loop in your life are an indication of what your ancestors did, and not just your ancestors in your direct bloodline, but the ancestors of all of humanity, those who created the earth you live in after the fall of the previous phase of the earth. Those are your ancestors, the beginning of your world. The betrayal that has been commonly also discussed as the story of Adam and Eve when Eve took the apple. Yes? That disrupted the harmonious connections. There have been so many stories of the early ages of humanity and the betrayal. In mythologies, when Zeus betrayed Hera consistently, we're pulling from, our communicators' wealth of knowledge to help with these metaphors. When Hera was betrayed constantly by Zeus, all of these stories from ancient times, think of every mythology, every even religious text, how there is so much betrayal infused in earlier stories. The lying, the deceit, the negative energy around connections with others. That's what they were experiencing in those early ages of humanity. That betrayal, the killing each other, that betrayal has been playing on a loop and disrupting harmonious connections and disrupting the boundaries of all, causing a permanent little disbalance within every root chakra. So how do you fix it within yourself? You stand firm in your boundaries. When you have a connection with somebody and you know it's not harmonious, you know it's taking away your power and strength, you know it's violating your boundaries, you know it's not something that resonates with you, don't stay to people please. It is not in your best interest to stay to people please. What is in your best interest is to stay firm in your boundaries and continue to choose the path of healing, forgiveness, light, and love. If anybody is pulling you back into old patterns of deceit, of betrayal, of anger, of fighting, of fear, release them with love and light. Ask for love and light to find them. Set your boundaries. For our pulling from our communicator, and she's feeling this. Set those boundaries. I may not want to have you in my life anymore, but I have faith that you will heal. Not that you will feel remorse, you will feel pain for what you did to me, karma, this, and that. No, that you will heal whatever is causing you to act from lower emotions. And I have faith that one day you will be able to feel unconditional love, free from betrayal and fear of betrayal, because what causes conditional love is the fear of betrayal. That is in the base of everyone. It's there. It is at the root cause of what causes people to have controlling love, to have conditional love, to have love that isn't even love. That's lust, that's infatuation. Is that fear of truly connecting harmoniously because of betrayal. You can set those boundaries and know and believe that one day those people are going to be at your level. And maybe they were never meant to be a part of your life, but they'll heal too, specifically if it's in connection to those who are also tied to your ancestral lineage. Family members you may not speak to anymore. What's also important to note is that for truly harmonious connection with all and stronger relationships with your boundaries, judgment of all needs to be overcome. No human has the right method of belief, of spirituality. No one thing is the right thing. They're all right in their own way. You piece them together and it makes the beautiful story of how the relationship with the universe, with higher powers, is influenced when you are in the physical. There is no right and wrong in regards to how you practice your spiritual beliefs. It's what you feel is best for you at the present moment. You may in 20 years think that's not good for you anymore and think that was wrong, and that's okay. What your spiritual practices are should not be fit into a box, into a pattern of what worked for those who came before you. It's what works best for you now, and judgment of how others practice connection to a higher power in any regard drops your energy significantly and damages your root. because you are all rooted in unconditional love for one another. And when you pass judgment on how other people live their life, that unconditional love for one another is betrayed and causes a collective disbalance in all. It is obvious that a lot of things from the past may have had some negative things spewed in with the positive things. It was a part of the times, and it's a part of the times now. There's a polarity, and in every realm of spiritual practice, every realm of belief, every realm of connection, there is positive and there is negative. But not one thing is solely negative. And honestly, not one thing is solely positive either. There is a polarity, there is a balance in things. Fae, dragon, angel, elf. Experienced, witnessing, maybe being there in the physical in some way, manifesting a physical form, the fall of the Atlantean age. Betrayal was there. When your guardian angels offer you that guidance to protect you and you do the opposite thing, betrayal is there. Higher beings can see the truth of all, can see the light and the love, even the darkness too, and love unconditionally. But part of why we love unconditionally is because we can see how in every action you choose something. You exercise your free will, and we love unconditionally the free will that you choose. And we're not going to pass judgment on you. No higher being will encourage judgment. That is a betrayal of the true unconditional divine love nature that resides in all of you. The judgment of others and the way that they do things. Because not one person has the right formula. There is no right formula. Part of being beings of life is there are a million different ways to be life. There are a million different ways to be inspiration. That's why we have 7 different domains. Millions different ways to be angels. That's why there are guardian angels, there are archangels, there are legions of angels. There's so many different things. Millions of different ways to be a universe. That's why universes are so complex. Galaxies are so complex. Planets are all different. There's a million different ways to be a planet. And not one planet has the right formula. There's a million different ways to be a medium, a psychic, a light worker. There's no right formula. A million different ways to be a healer, a channeler, a reader. There is no right formula. There is not one thing that you are supposed to fit into. The only thing you are meant to do is be a being of life, exercise free will, and learn how to overcome the negative influence on your life and choose the light. And the negative influences everybody in different ways. Truly harmonious connections is releasing that judgment. Having firm boundaries is doing boundaries without judgment, anger, or fear. It's this does not work for me. And if you're going to continue to disrespect me, then you're not loving unconditionally. You're choosing you over respecting me. And so I need some space, and that's okay. And I still love you unconditionally. I'm not saying you need to do this thing, but I can feel that after months, you're disrespecting my wishes. And it's not in my best interest to keep this connection going if you keep disrespecting me. Knowing you're disrespecting me, knowing you're causing me to feel pain, knowing you're causing me to feel hurt, knowing you're violating my boundaries. So she wanted to offer a processing time before I allow the chief Elfian warrior to come forth and continue the conversation. Just to give me a little bit to explain what I was seeing, and then we'll transfer to the next. She was kind of done. She's like, that's what I needed to say, and I'm done. And thank you, truly harmonious, divine feminine, Elfian warrior, for that message. She's kind of indicating that there's a little bit of a difference between what she was talking about and what the chief Elfian warrior is going to talk about in regards to boundaries, and that's why there's this like divide in between. Normally they don't do that. What she wanted the processing was for me to talk about what I saw. The visuals she gave me were very much related to the way that we expand, and the way we expand in different ways, and also watching the planets orbit in different colors, in different shapes, in different sizes, watching the different suns exist harmoniously, watching the different dimensions and all their different colors, just observing and watching it all. And the primary thing she was showing was, it was kind of like a flash of, in every human being, the different things that we all share, the experiences that are being experienced by multiple people in different ways. No one story is going to be identical, but it's also the truth and justice in releasing the judgment. And that's what we hold the power to now, to break that cycle of the past of judgment upon others. That's the main cause of the disrupt. I just kept seeing judgment and then war, judgment and then war, judgment and then war. Also seeing people pleasing and then war, people pleasing and then war. This thing is the boundary I have, but I'm continually letting you violating it, and then war. It's not standing firm in your beliefs, and war. It's letting go of what is you, what makes you you, and war. It's not allowing other people to grow and change, and war. It's not allowing forgiveness, and war. It's just all of those things that's not allowing another person around you to develop as a tree, and war. We are all different trees growing in different ways. We are different snowflakes. We are different this, we are different that. Nature shows us that not one thing is the same. Nothing is identical. Everything is unique. And passing judgment on someone's uniqueness drops our energy and is repeating the cycles of our ancestors and changes our relationship with our boundaries. Because if we are willing to allow ourselves to continually judge others, then we are giving permission for others to continually judge us and send negativity to us, if we're saying it's okay for us to do that as well. And it's this war of sending judgment here, and getting judgment back, and oh, the whole world is against me. Why is the whole world against me? And feeling that so deeply because we're violating that boundary that we set as human beings before we incarnated in the physical to be divine light and love, to love all unconditionally, by judging others, by judging ourselves, by setting so many expectations, conditions, and rules. And when we do that, we are betraying our nature. That's why betrayal is at the very core of what is causing a lot of disbalance in all of us, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing. And we're all guilty of that. And they even showed me specific examples of how I'm guilty of that, of how those that I, respect and hold dear in my life, how they're guilty of that, and how I'm guilty of not telling them that they're betraying themselves just because they don't want to rock the boat, you know? And how it's just, it happens, and it's a part of life, and it's okay. And it's not something that you need to cleanse and purify because it happens. It's a part of life. And the judgment that happens so deeply, that's caused genocides, has caused wars, has caused tension between human beings because of judging differences instead of accepting them, or even communism, trying to make everything the same. We're not meant to be the same. So also in teaching and sharing things and channeling things and messages of this, we're not trying to make somebody be exactly like us. You know, as readers or channelers, communicators aren't trying to make somebody be something else. It just, here is a truth. Here is something else I'm sharing that can add to your diverse plate of your beliefs, of your practices, of who you are. And I want to take some too. Let's share. Let's have an energy exchange. Share with me something that you feel called to communicate. Let's grow, develop, and expand and become more nutritious, more diverse. You know, when you have different things on your plate that you eat, you get different nutrients, different vitamins. Let's further help each other's health by communicating our different beliefs. And we can pick and choose what we like and what we don't like. But when there's when there's more options, there's more inspiration. So now I'm going to switch over, and I'm sure the Chief Elfian Warrior, he's probably not going to talk that much. He already made it clear. He kind of knows where he's going, and he's got his message. So we're going to let him through. Chief Elfian Warrior, Divine Masculine, when I've safely stepped back, may step forth. Hello, beautiful beings. Divine Masculine, Chief Elfian Warrior. Haha, she said I wasn't going to talk fast. Yes, so warriors can be joy bringers too. I can hear the elder of the Nomad Joybringer domain stepping forth and laughing. Love, my friend. We, as beings of inspiration, we are beings of inspiration. We're also very funny. Kind of piggybacking off on what our communicator was saying. Now, boundaries, how to set your boundaries. And understand your shields of protection. First and foremost, understanding your beliefs, what works for you, what doesn't, and sticking to them. Because you can set a million shields of protection, but if you constantly are allowing what you are trying to protect your energy from to come through and break your boundaries, then those shields are basically pointless. So it's knowing your beliefs, knowing what works for you and what doesn't, and not allowing what doesn't resonate through. When you're allowing things that don't resonate through just because you think you know, I kind of want to do that, this will be kind of fun, it doesn't resonate, but you know, it would be cool. No, that is violating your boundaries. Figure out what resonates for you and set the boundary for that which does not resonate, will not come through. Then you can have your different shields of protection for, you know, eyes, negative energy being sent to you, outside influences. But if someone is draining your energy and you know they're stealing your energy, or you know that what they're saying and what they're doing does not resonate with you, yet you continually allow them in your life, continually allow them to express their sound frequency aggressively on you, then you're telling your shields, well, you know, I actually don't even care anyway, because I'm allowing them through anyway. If you set the boundary, I'm going to forgive all, and then you're holding grudges and you're putting the shield of protection and protecting me from those who wish to send me harm and don't want to forgive me, this and that, and then you're going and doing the same thing, you're telling the shields, well, I actually don't care. So in reality, you can do a million shields of protection, surround yourself with divine light and love, and then if you go out and you're doing every single deadly concept in the book times infinity, then all of the divine light times infinity, it gets canceled out. It's zeroed out. And you're telling that shield, well, I actually don't really need you anyway. But you think outdoing that shield, and I can go and do all the million things that don't resonate, and then I'm still protected. I'm still light and love. Beautiful children of the tree of life. It's a little bit to contradiction. You can do that. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. You have free will. But it's highly encouraged that when you set boundaries about your beliefs, you stick by them. And when you set your shields, you allow them to do the work. And when they're trying to tell you something, listen, if you have shields to bring you strength and then you go and do everything possible to drain all of your energy right away, there's only so much the shield can do. If you set the boundary, I'm not going to allow those that cause me dis-ease, that cause me disharmony, that cause me pain to violate my boundaries, to disrespect me, and then you continually keep allowing it to happen. That's going to cause a disbalance in the long run. So the key, the only key, is to understand your morals, your beliefs, your boundaries, and stick to them. And don't allow peer pressure and people to convince you to do things that works for them but doesn't for you. You know what's yours. You know who you are. You know what resonates. And when you continually allow things to don't resonate through, you are feeding that seed of betrayal that wants to keep growing and knock you off balance. And your boundaries drop, your shields drop, your energy drop, and then depressed and you don't want to exist as a human anymore. It snowballs. So know your boundaries, stick to them, and you're golden. It's simply it. When there's no these are the boundaries you need to set. No, it's what works for you. Doing a reflection, figuring out who you are as a unique individual soul, as a unique individual human in this lifetime. Because even what worked for you in other lifetimes, when you had other egoic selves, may not work for you in this one. You could have been a king in a past lifetime and your boundaries were very different. Examples, you could have been a farmer in another lifetime, and this time you're working in business, and your boundaries are very different. It changes from lifetime to lifetime, too. So the boundaries from your Akashic, this worked for me in another lifetime after you see your past lives and what worked for you, and I'm going to do that in this lifetime. Well, you're completely different in this lifetime, so it's not the same. Well, this worked for my ancestors, these beliefs, these patterns, so it's meant to work for me. Well, you're in a very different day and age than your ancestors, even than your parents, than your siblings, if your siblings have a significant age gap with you. Very different time period. What worked in the past might not necessarily work in the future. So it's identifying what works for you now and sticking to it. He just did the thumbs up and he's done. He's like, and sticking to it. Okay. That's that. It's like, done. What was interesting is how present he kept me in that moment to hear what he was saying, but also how I don't really know everything that was going on. And I didn't even really see visuals. I was just seeing light. And I was also feeling a lot more. Feeling the leaves coming and clearing, feeling everything, and also seeing everything click. The puzzle pieces click together was so interesting. It truly is as simple as that. He showed me someone having boundaries and then not sticking to them. And then it causes a knockoff balance. We know what works for us. We know what resonates for us. We know who we are. We know our beliefs. We know our truth. Yet constantly, we people please. We don't want to rock the boat. We do this, we do that. And we betray ourselves knowing what works for us. And we do it anyway. And then we wonder why we feel like there's something wrong. Why we have imposter syndrome. Why we don't feel like ourselves. Well, because we know who we are, but we don't stick to it. And we start acting and being who we're not. Sometimes people are meant to be actors, are meant to be performers, are meant to do that, and that's who they are. And that's okay. Sometimes people are meant to be channelers, are meant to be communicators of truth, and that's who they are. But if they go and they're constantly lying and making up, stuff all the time, then they're betraying themselves and then wonder why they don't know who they are anymore. It's some things are truly that simple, but also it's not simple, because to truly identify what is authentically yours, you need to remove the influence of all those other people. I've talked about it before, of unprogramming your mind, removing the things that were not yours, identifying what truly is. That takes time, that takes practice. I can be honest, I'm not even sure if I know 100%. That dream that I had was definitely an indication. I kept talking about my grandparents and great-grandparents, and that dream as I was pulling the nails out, I still might not even know what is truly mine and what is theirs. What, even in conversations with friends, and I take things, I'm like, well, was this even mine? We're all guilty of it, and it's not even something to feel like we're guilty of it. It's not a bad thing. It happens, and it's a part of life to figure out what is ours and what isn't. And we have that blessing in this day and age to take the time to do that. We're not in survival mode as much anymore. Some people are still in survival mode, but we're not like in the survival mode where we're living in a forest, in a tree, and there are lions that can run and eat us. Like, we're not in that state of survival as much anymore. We have luxurious survival mode. It's a little bit better. Different, and sometimes it can feel like that. I've been in a survival mode state where it did feel like I felt like a lion was going to come and eat me, but we have a little bit more luxury now than our ancestors to figure out who we are. There's so much content on the internet, so many different things, so many different opinions, different voices, different this, different that out there, that we can truly figure out what is ours, what does resonate, and what does not. We have that ability now. So it's definitely something to take advantage of, that we in this lifetime have the ability to do what maybe we couldn't before in other lifetimes, what our ancestors couldn't do, and be free of the things that are not ours and know what is. So with that, sending you all divine light and love, sending you inspiration. May you stay inspired, stay seeking inspiration as well. And I wish you luck in understanding your own boundaries. Of course, if you need any higher support, you can always call on guardian angels. You can call on the Elfian Warriors. You can call on the cosmic Elfian elementals of systematic and asteroidic frequencies as they work with boundaries and ley lines, protections, things like that. And also the cosmic Elfian elementals of space to understand your space. In the future, the elves definitely want to do a whole workshop dedicated to protecting your space, both energetically and the space that you live in. So we'll work on that in the future one day. We have time to do that. But what's most important is to do that within yourself first, and then worry about what's going on out there. Until next time, light and love. Stay inspired.